And we're back with the next. Yep, with a frog actually. With more than one frog. We're here with like 8 frogs. But yeah, I don't actually know how many frogs there are because I kept losing count. Anyway, we're gonna start by moving them out of this tiny little box. Time for a sideways animation because I did it wrong. Boom, pop. Yep, amazing. First we're putting the we're putting a bunch of leaf litter inside the box. And more logs. Filling with water. This is our next bag to cover the lid. Sponsored by Next. I'm really not. But it's a nice box. And that's the lid. Because the lid is gone. Anyway, yeah. Free the little guys into the big box. One box from another box. Yippee. This guy kept jumping out. But don't worry. Gentle touch. By them jumping back inside them itself. Yeah. And I left the box inside there. Because I did not want to force them out or accidentally crush someone with my hands. Yeah, this guy. Just staring at me. He stood there for a long time. That was very sped up. Quite poorly done videography. But yeah, this guy's recorded from the side now. Just showing you that frogs are actually secretly Spider-Man undercover. Yep. Doing a whole lot of nothing interesting, except from that guy when I actually finally managed to catch him, walking up the walls like Spider-Man. Cue the Spider-Man music. Because that box was kind of rubbish, that one's just temporary. This one's going to be a fancy one, with dirt that's meant to be for frogs, eco something, and I know it's for frogs because there's an image of a frog right there. But obviously this brick was way too much for the tank. It's kind of small, so they won't all be able to fit in there or go in there because we do not do animal cruelty on the most half of things. The tank was actually cracked somewhere along the lines when I was emptying it all out and cleaning it up. Mwahaha. Yep. Hyperlapse. That wasn't enough either, and it was way too damp. Yeah, after I spread it everywhere, I realised that that was not enough. So, we did it again. Because when you don't succeed, just do it over and over again, and then overlaps it all, hyperlapse it, and then scribble it all around again, leave the sounds for no reason. Boom. Stab, 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 stab. The most efficient way to move the dirt around is to stab it multiple times. Completely missed that out, but there is a tank, and I went out, and I got this fern, which was half price, 7 quid, which is so pricey. Could have just gone outside really and stolen it from the neighbour's garden. But I would never do that, because I'm a stand-up citizen. Time for the patting again. That's not a pat sound at all, but don't care. There you go. After squiggling around the dirt and pushing it around, I realised I could use this rock to stand up the phone instead of using one hand. That way I could do it properly. Here you get the great luxury of seeing me pat dirt again. Pat, 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 pat. Pat. I did that thing with the water tank a few times. It just kept getting dirt inside. And on my hands. As a professional gardener, I can say that I am doing this with utmost caution. This is not something you should do at home. Very dangerous to play with scissors. But as you can see, my architectural skills of chopping gives me the ability to cut it perfectly in line with the tank. See? Edward Scissorhands right here. And we go back to the bag of leaf litter that we stole from the forest lands and dump it around to give it that extra little textural design on the inside of the tank. Mainly just so that they can hide underneath the leaves and blend in and feel like they're cameoed when we can see them very fine. Unless you have bad eyes. In that case, sucks for you. Oh well. You can't have a miniature forest without sticks all over the ground. How else will they have sword fights? Yeah, as you can see there's more dirt, so I'm probably going to empty that out again. Yep, emptied it out, and now water! Yep, that was not meant to be splashed around as much as it just was, but, you know, what does the job, does the job, so, yeah. The only part next was to actually get the frogs. Now, this was harder than I thought, even though I knew they were all hiding underneath this rock here. If you can see them, nope, blurred out, never mind. Focusing on the plastic, that's why, kind of useless there. Now this would be a little bit easier if you were a professional frog catcher like me. As you can see, I catch this frog first time, definitely not just praying and hoping that it just jumps onto my hand. It doesn't. And now I'm honestly not going to deal with any of the frogs jumping out of my hand over and over and over again. So I just waited until one actually wanted to go with me to go to the other tank. It's more of a VIP room anyway. See, this guy came. Yep. Yeah, mostly just me hoping that he wasn't going to jump out of my hands instantly. Which he did not. Woohoo! And he was safely transported into this little tank, which is covered by a cardboard box right now, but it will not be in the future, by the way. There are holes in it. I will fix everything with a lid in another time frame. Yeah, another time frame. Into the wilderness you go. Which he didn't. He actually wanted to stay on my hand, but he jumped off. Yeah. Bye-bye. Into the forest and became completely invisible in the dark of the night. And the rest of the frogs just kept running away from me. Hopping away from me. Yeah, hopping. See, so many of them went onto my hand and then just jumped off. Jumped off again. Jumped away into... It jumped off. Jumped off the river tub thingy. Bruh. And I didn't feel like squishing that guy, so I just kept going to a different one. Until I eventually got another one. And then it jumped off again. They all just kept doing that. They probably like it in here anyway, because it is pretty good of an area, you know, because I made it. And design. Leave me alone. Many child attempts. The frog looks completely invisible in the log. I did not realize that in the recording process. Funny story, I keep accidentally recording it upwards, what's that, horizontally, vertically. I keep recording vertically, so I flipped it around so it's sideways. So you gotta imagine that it's actually the other way around, because I recorded it wrong. Because I keep forgetting when I'm doing a short or an actual video, and this was a video. Yeah, this is just me continuously failing to catch a frog over and over again, being bested by a bunch of frogs. Froglets. Yeah, froglets. Now, none of these guys actually have a name, so if any of you do have any recommended names, you can put them in the comments, or anywhere else. Actually, do in the comments, don't just randomly find my phone number and call me, because that'll be very, 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 very worrying, personally. Yeah, so I thought this guy was good, and he was actually going to get in, but then I realized I didn't leave the lid open. So I was kind of screwed there, so I was debating whether or not to put him back inside of the tank. But yeah, he ended up jumping out of my hand. And yeah, right there. No, I don't actually have a finger, so I'm going to point arrow now. Okay, never mind, you should probably see it. Anyway, it ran away through my wires, here again, holding it horizontally. Yeah, just ignore that massive wire mess. This is just a lesson that I should clean those wires, which I will do after finishing this video. He scurried, jumped, and hid straight away inside the little tank thing. And I came back to see if I wanted to get another one, but then I thought, nah, 2 will be due. 2 will do. And if any of you have seen my most recent short, you may be wondering where the dragonfly is. It's on my shoulder. Quite a virtual dragonfly. But anyway, yeah, that concludes us to the end of the video. These guys, rehomed, frogs, all of the room. See you next time.